Hello and welcome to my video about negative exponents. So we're just going to start off with some basic questions here. And basically, what is the pattern? So what's going on here? So 2 to the 4 is like saying, let me just change my color here. Oh, that's too thick. There you go. 2 to the 4 is like saying 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Or like saying 4 times 4, which is 16. Okay? 2 to the 3 is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. 2 to the 2 is 2 times 2, which is 4. And 2 to the 1 is just 2. So what do you notice as the pattern here? Well, hopefully you notice that as we go down, we are dividing by 2. And the reason why we're dividing by 2 is because that is the base. And as we go up, we are multiplying by 2. Because that's just the opposite of dividing, right? So as we go up, we multiply. As we go down, we divide. So if that's the case, let's extend this pattern one further. Divide by 2 again, and we get 1. So 2 to the 0 is 1. Okay, and if we go a little bit further even, we'll just go zoom out just a tiny bit, a little bit further even, then we have 2 to the negative 1. Well, 1 divided by 2 is 0.5, or another way of saying that is 1/2. The next one is if we divide 0.5 in half again, or by 2 again, we get 0.25, or another way to say that is 1/4. And maybe you can start to see a similarity here because we have a 2 here where it's to the 1, and here we have a negative 1, so it's a 2 on the denominator. Okay, here we have a 4 and an exponent 2. Here we have an exponent negative 2 and it is 1/4. So if we continue the pattern down, we can just go down one further. Then you can see that instead of 1/4, we get 1/8. Because 2 to the 3 is 8, so 2 to the negative 3 is 1/8. So if you just did this with any other number, it would work out the same way. So if you did like 10, I really need to make them all thin. But if you did 10 to the 2, it would be 100. If you did 10 to the 1, it is 10. If you do 10 to the 0, again, we're just dividing by 10 everywhere, so it's just 1. You'll notice that anything to the exponent 0 is 1. 10 to the negative 1 equals 1/10, right? Because it's the same as the 10 to the 1, except that we do the reciprocal. We put it onto the denominator. So then, one more example, 10 to the negative 2 is 1/100. Okay, so the pattern is that we are dividing by 2 everywhere. So if we look at the negative numbers, what are we doing? Well, we're just taking the reciprocal and making it positive. So the reciprocal, and then we change the exponent to be positive. So let's take a look at a couple examples here. If you think that you can do these questions, I recommend trying them right now. But if you maybe can't do them yet, pause the video after the first example and then try it from there. So the first example, we have 49/64, and then we have to the exponent negative 1/2. Well, what we can do is we can go 64, I almost did that wrong, over 49. So now we have flipped it, and we can have a positive exponent. So the only thing that's changed is that these have flipped and this became positive. Okay, so now that we have done that, we can go the next step, which is to use the rational exponent rules from the last lesson. If we have a denominator of 2, that means we're square rooting, and a numerator of 1, so to the power of 1, but that doesn't change anything. So it's the square root of 64 over the square root of 49, which is 8/7. All right, pause the video now, try the next two examples, and see if you get the same answers that I do. All right, so let's take a look here. We've got 16 to the negative 3 over 4. So a way we can write this is by going 1 over 16 to the 3 over 4. Then what we can do is we can say, well, this is over 4, so that means it's a fourth root of 16. And then to the power of 3 because the numerator was 3. Now we can do the fourth root of 16, which if you you might find this challenging at first. You just have to do a prime factor tree, and notice that there are 4 2's at the bottom, so all 4 of them come to the outside. So we can write this now as 1 over 2 to the 3, or we can just write 1 over 8 now as our final answer. All right, and one last example question here. We have 64 over 27, all to the power of negative 2 over 3. So first things first, we're going to flip it, because the entire thing is to the exponent, to the negative exponent. And we're going to change the exponent from a negative to a positive, now that we've flipped it. Now that we've done that, we're going to take the denominator, which is the 3, and we're going to cube root 27. Then we're going to square it, because that's the numerator. And we're going to do the same thing for the denominator, which is cube root of 64, and then we're going to square that. And let's just think about what we get. So the first one, we get 3, and then squared over 4 squared, which is going to be 9 over 16 as our final answer. All right, so yeah, that is negative exponents. I hope that this video helped you better understand them, and that you feel ready to solve negative exponents, and especially even the rational numbers, which we covered more last lesson. I hope this video helps, and good luck.